Final boarding. Are they closing? Why is the door still open? Have your passes ready.
Seat 1A. One moment, sir.
We're already late.
I can wait. Seat 1A.
Passport, please.
Here.
Payment matches.
And the flight?
Still open.
Then scan it.
Scanning now.
Green?
Green. Can we move? Please wait.
Give me that pass.
It verified.
I said give it.
Why?
Secondary review.
For what?
Step aside.
My documents match.
They do. Not another word.
Then
You're not stepping onto this aircraft.
why?
His pass is valid. Stay out of this.
What does people like me mean?
You heard me.
Say it clearly. Repeat the reason.
I already did.
Not on the record.
Turn those phones off. No, this is private.
You made it public.
Security is coming.
Good. I think.
What happened?
He refuses to comply.
With what instruction?
Stop talking. We all saw green.
Did he threaten anyone?
He challenged me.
That is not a threat.
Close the door.
Now, end this now. State the official reason. You are not boarding. Whose decision? Mine.
It's recorded.
Review the green scan.
Repeat that.
It is mine alone.
Thank you.
You're not stepping onto this aircraft, the gate manager said, sliding Malcolm Reed's first-class pass back across the counter as phones rose behind him. People like you always claim there's been a mistake. Malcolm glanced at the departure clock, then at the small silver gear his daughter had given him. One missed flight would cost him her trust. But why did he stay so calm when security arrived? Why did the airline's vice president suddenly stop smiling when Malcolm asked for one recorded sentence? And what could a single call possibly change before midnight? Stay until the end, because the seat they denied him was worth far more than anyone at that gate understood. Repeat the reason, Malcolm said. At 11:42, red digits trembled in the rain-black glass. Grant Voss kept one hand on the counter. I've explained it. Not on the record. Phones rose behind Malcolm. The boarding door remained open, blue light blinking. Grant looked at Celeste Ward. Cancel the pass. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. The system still shows seat 1A as verified. I said cancel it. Malcolm's phone chimed. Nia's name appeared, then vanished. Missed video call. He turned the silver gear in his palm until one tooth pressed beneath his thumb. Miriam Sloan stepped forward, rain darkening her gray scarf. His documents matched. This is an operational matter, ma'am, Grant said. It became public when you made it public. Owen Bell moved between Malcolm and the jet bridge. Sir, step back. Malcolm obeyed. A child near the windows asked why the plane was waiting. His father pulled him close. Grant leaned forward. Your behavior raised concerns. What behavior? You challenged staff. After my valid pass was rejected. Grant's jaw tightened. People like you always claim there's been a mistake. Celeste stopped typing. Miriam's phone stayed level. Owen looked at Grant. Say the official reason again, Malcolm said. Grant noticed the camera. Turn that off. It's mine, Miriam replied. You don't have permission. You just described him as a type of person. At 11:43, the door light changed from blue to amber. Celeste lowered her voice. If I void it now, the seat can be reassigned. Do it. The printer woke with a mechanical whir. A warm strip of paper curled out. Celeste tore it free. What did you enter? Malcolm asked. Passenger non-compliance. Was that your observation? Her eyes moved toward Grant. It was the operational determination. That wasn't my question. Owen's radio crackled. Grant stepped closer. You are not boarding. Security will escort you away, and any further disruption will be documented. Cold air drifted from the jet bridge, carrying wet concrete and stale cabin heat. Malcolm's phone lit again. They're holding my start for 5 minutes. Are you close? He read Nia's message twice, then placed the phone face down. Who authorized the final decision? He asked. I did. You reviewed my identification, payment, and scan result? I reviewed what was necessary. Did you review the green verification? Grant glanced at the scanner. Its indicator still glowed. Celeste reached for the switch. "Leave it on," Malcolm said. Owen blocked her hand. Grant stared at him. "What are you doing?" "Preserving the device status. This is resolved." "No," Miriam said softly. "It's recorded." The clock changed to 11:44. Grant's phone vibrated. He checked the screen, and the color left his face briefly. Malcolm caught the sender's initials in the glass. P.S. "Last chance," Grant said. "Step away." Malcolm slipped the gear into his pocket. "After you confirm one thing." "What?" "That this decision is yours alone." Grant straightened, aware of every lens aimed at him. "Yes," he said. "Mine alone." Malcolm picked up his phone. 17 minutes remained before midnight, and the message waiting at the top was not from his daughter. The message was from Priya Shah. Compliance certificate uploaded. Signature verified. 11 hours earlier, at 6:45 a.m., Malcolm stood barefoot in his kitchen while sleet tapped the windows. The coffee machine hissed. "You're awake," Nia said through the tablet beside the sink. "You're already dressed." "My team call starts in 12 minutes." She held up a palm-sized robot with one wheel missing. Malcolm turned his mug by the handle. "I can have a replacement motor delivered before lunch." "No. A better one." "No gifts, Dad." He stopped. Nia lifted the program for the River Point Youth Engineering Final. Seat A-7 in the first row was circled in blue. "I saved this one." "I'll be there." "You said that in October." The refrigerator clicked off. Only sleet touched the glass. Malcolm rubbed the silver gear on his keyring. Elena had machined it when Nia built her first cardboard rover. "What time do you present?" 7:15. They might move us earlier." "I land at 5:40. "Private plane?" "Not today." A weather alert crossed his tablet. Charter departures suspended until evening. Nia narrowed her eyes. "Then don't make it complicated." "I booked the last commercial flight." "Just sit in the chair," she said. "That's all." The call ended before he could answer. At 8:10, the conference room smelled of toner and burnt coffee. 12 directors sat beneath a screen showing the Regent Vale Air Agreement, software, cloud migration, fraud monitoring, and credit guarantees valued at $5.1 billion. Jonah Pierce slid a folder toward Malcolm. "We can postpone?" "No, midnight stays." "You'll be in transit." "Priya can file the notice." Priya Shah, 41, sat 2 seats away with a yellow pencil through her dark bun. "Only if the final compliance certificate clears. Their regional officer still hasn't signed." A director tapped the table. "We've reviewed them for 6 months." "We've reviewed what they chose to send," Malcolm said. Jonah leaned back. "You're planning another field test." "I'm taking a flight." "Without advance notice?" "That is the test." Priya closed the folder. "Your face has been in financial coverage all week." "Gate employees don't read acquisition reports at midnight." "And if someone recognizes you?" "Then I learn nothing." He wore the charcoal hoodie he used during overnight coding sessions and the silver watch Elena had given him before the company had an office. His worn leather carry-on held one change of clothes and Nia's program. At 9:32, his driver opened the car door beneath an awning glazed with ice. "You want me nearby?" Marcus asked. "No. Go home before the roads close." "Security?" "Not for a domestic flight." Marcus hesitated. "Your daughter's event?" Malcolm showed him the blue circle. "Then don't miss it." Inside the terminal, warm air smelled of cinnamon and wet coats. Travelers crowded beneath delay boards. Malcolm removed his overcoat at the scanner, folded it himself, and waited while a family hurried past. His phone buzzed. Nia had sent a photograph of the empty chair. Beneath it were 4 words. I'm trusting you today. Malcolm placed the silver gear in the tray, watched it roll toward the edge, and caught it before it fell. At 10:18 a.m., Malcolm's carry-on wheel caught between 2 tiles. He lifted the bag and continued beneath a board, flashing delayed. Priya called before he reached the gate. Grant Voss signed the certificate. When? 10:14. He attested there are no unresolved complaints involving selective treatment, seat reassignment, or identity checks. Malcolm stopped beside a rain-streaked window. Audit trail? Missing. Ask once. I did. He says the system is clean. A cart rattled past. The air smelled of wet wool and coffee. The board wants your field confirmation before midnight, Priya said. 1 sentence releases the first tranche. 1 sentence after the flight. You can identify yourself if something goes wrong. That changes the test. It might get you home. Malcolm touched Naya's program. Those are different questions. At Gate C-19, a rope divided premium boarding from the concourse. Celeste Ward, 38, wore a navy jacket and a copper bob tucked behind one ear. She greeted a man in a cashmere coat by name and carried his garment bag around the scanner. Welcome back, Mr. Halpern. When Malcolm approached, she turned to a ringing phone. Leo Park, 27, sat at the second terminal. He tapped his badge whenever the line stalled. First class? Leo asked. Seat 1A. Malcolm handed over his passport and phone. Leo typed twice. Everything matches. You're early. Is the flight still scheduled? For now. Celeste covered the receiver. Leo, clear the upgrades before special cases. This isn't special. She glanced from Malcolm's worn bag to the hood beneath his coat. Then he can wait. Malcolm sat near the counter. The chair was cold through his trousers. Each time the doors opened, damp air crossed the floor with the whine of vehicles. A woman in a gray suit arrived with 2 cases. My connection is tight. Celeste smiled. I'll take care of you. Her pass flashed yellow. Celeste pressed 3 keys, turning it green. 10 minutes passed, then 14. Leo leaned toward her. His record is complete. Paid first class, no flags. Verify the payment source. It cleared at booking. Again. Malcolm rose. Is there a problem? We're confirming eligibility. For a purchased seat? For premium boarding. Leo stopped tapping his badge. Malcolm left space between himself and the scanner. What additional condition applies? Celeste faced him. People sometimes arrive with passes they didn't obtain correctly. My passport matches. Payment cleared. Your colleague confirmed both. I heard him. Then what remains? The gate quieted. Behind Malcolm, a spoon struck a paper cup. Celeste slid back his phone. Wait until called. At 10:51, Priya sent a photograph of the signed compliance page. Grant Voss's name sat above a digital seal. Beneath it, 1 sentence promised that no passenger had faced unsupported scrutiny during the previous year. Malcolm enlarged the line. Across the counter, Celeste whispered to Leo and pointed at his reservation. His mouth tightened. Sir, he called, bring your boarding pass back. Malcolm approached. The scanner chirped and glowed green. Celeste reached across Leo and took the pass before it could print. Celeste held the pass between 2 fingers. Why did you take it? Malcolm asked. Secondary review. The scanner approved it. That does not end the review. The green light remained on beneath her hand. Her thumb covered the printed 1A, bending the paper. Leo leaned closer. The reservation is clean. Open the payment history. I already did. Again. Keys clicked under the ventilation hum. Rain drew silver lines down the windows. Malcolm placed his passport on the counter. What exactly are you verifying? Ownership of the ticket. My name is on it. Names can be entered incorrectly. So can reasons. Are we boarding? A man asked. In a moment, sir, Celeste said, warm. Leo turned his screen. Cardholder, billing address, and profile all match. Call the issuing bank. There is no basis. Her copper bob swung as she faced him. I gave you an instruction. Malcolm watched Leo's finger hover. Don't call on my behalf. Show me the policy requiring it. Celeste slid his passport farther away. You are delaying this flight. I'm standing where you told me to stand. A woman near the rope lowered her phone but kept it ready. No one else spoke. Leo opened a policy window. Identity mismatch requires 2 conflicting data points. Then document them, Malcolm said. Celeste's jaw tightened. Your appearance does not align with the profile. What part? The account history. That is not an appearance. Another agent brushed the scanner. It chirped, flooding the glass green beneath Celeste's thumb. Mr. Reed, step aside. Return my passport first. She looked down, then pushed it back. A passenger in a cream sweater approached from the lounge. Mr. Danner, Celeste said, we may have resolved your seat issue. Leo looked up. His upgrade request is for 1A. Celeste froze. Malcolm glanced at his bent pass. You're reassigning my seat. No decision has been made. You just told him it was resolved. Mr. Danner frowned. I was told first class was full. It is, Leo said. Celeste opened the seating chart. Operational discretion allows adjustments. For safety? Malcolm asked. For service continuity. What changed after my pass scanned green? Additional information. Name it. The printer woke with a dry whir. A fresh pass slid out for Mr. Danner. Leo caught it. This says 1A. Cold air drifted from the jet bridge. Malcolm smelled wet concrete and bitter coffee. Give it to me, Celeste said. No. Leo laid both passes side by side. Malcolm's was creased, the seat number smudged beneath Celeste's thumbprint. The new one was warm and flat. You cannot assign the same seat twice, Leo said. Celeste tore the barcode strip from Malcolm's pass. The woman by the rope raised her phone. Was that necessary? Malcolm asked. It prevents duplicate boarding. The system already did. Celeste dropped the strip into a bin and typed into his profile. Leo read over her shoulder. You marked identity concern. Pending verification. You have no conflicting data. She clicked save. A red banner filled Malcolm's reservation. Requires supervisor authorization. Celeste switched off the scanner. The green light vanished, but the red banner remained. The red banner remained across Malcolm's reservation. Celeste dropped the torn barcode into the bin and turned the monitor away. Move behind the rope. After you explain the flag. I have explained enough. Leo reopened the audit panel. The seat changed at 11:19. The identity concern was added at 11:21. Celeste reached for his mouse. Close that. Those entries should be reversed. Do not interpret a supervisor's notes. Malcolm set his phone on the metal counter. Its vibration traveled through the cold surface as Nia called. Her face appeared beside the unfinished rover, then vanished before he could answer. May I use the gate telephone? No personal calls. My signal dropped. That is not our responsibility. Miriam Sloane stepped out of the first-class line, wearing a rain-darkened gray scarf. His pass turned green, she said. Why are you treating him as though it didn't? Celeste smiled toward the passengers. There is a private verification issue. You announced it to the whole gate. Miriam, a man whispered. "We'll lose our seats." She looked at him. He already lost his. Passengers lowered their eyes. One raised a phone, checked who was watching, then slipped it away. Malcolm faced Leo. "Can the system show who initiated the transfer?" "Gate supervisor credentials." "Whose?" "Mine," Celeste said. "And the reason?" "Service continuity." Miriam frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means we manage the cabin." "It means nothing." The jet bridge door stood open. Warm cabin air mixed with wet concrete, while a blue indicator pulsed above the frame. Leo scrolled farther, his badge tapping the desk. "There's a second entry." Celeste's voice sharpened. "Leo!" The upgrade for 1A was prepared before Mr. Reed was called back. Malcolm looked at her. So the review followed the decision. The system timestamps processes differently. "Show me the policy." "I'm done debating." She pressed the public address button. "Final boarding for Flight 604 to River Point." Passengers surged toward the rope. Wheels struck chair legs. Celeste waved two people through without repeating their identity checks. Miriam stayed. "Go," Malcolm told her. "Not yet. You have a flight. And you had a seat." She lifted her phone and recorded the red banner, the torn pass in the bin, then Malcolm beside the yellow line. Celeste noticed. "You cannot film employees." "I'm filming a counter." "Turn it off." "Give him a written reason." Leo minimized the reservation and opened a gray audit window. Before Celeste turned, he pressed two keys. A small camera icon flashed. "What was that?" she asked. "Nothing." Malcolm saw the saved file notice disappear. His phone vibrated again. Nia had sent a text. "They might move us earlier. Please answer." He typed, "I'm still coming," but his thumb hovered above send. The cabin chimed through the open door. An agent called, 2 minutes. Celeste lifted the desk phone, paused over the keypad, and looked at the passengers filming. "Who are you calling?" Malcolm asked. "The person who can end this." She entered an internal extension. On Leo's screen, the red banner continued to glow while the seconds advanced. The red banner had been on the screen for 3 minutes when Celeste lifted the phone. "Grant, I need you at C19. Leo took a screenshot before she closed the reservation window. The click vanished beneath rain striking the glass. Celeste turned. "What did you save?" "The audit state." "Delete it." "No." Malcolm's phone vibrated against the counter. Nia's name flashed, then the call dropped. When he picked it up, the signal bar had fallen to 1. Miriam Sloan stepped from the premium line, phone upright in both hands. "He was approved," she said. "We all saw it. Return to the boarding area." "I am in the boarding area." The jet bridge door opened. Grant Voss entered, his silver tie centered. He did not greet Malcolm. "What is the delay?" "Possible identity issue," Celeste said. "Seat reassignment is prepared." Leo turned his monitor. "No mismatch exists. The pass scanned green." Grant barely looked. "Close boarding." "You haven't reviewed my documents," Malcolm said. "I reviewed the summary. That was written after my seat was reassigned." Grant faced Celeste. "Void the ticket." The printer coughed out a narrow strip. Warm air carried the smell of heated ink. "On what ground?" Malcolm asked. "Disruptive conduct." "What conduct?" "You challenged staff instructions." "I asked for the rule." Grant's smile touched one corner of his mouth. "People like you always believe a mistake explains everything." The spoon in a passenger's cup stopped moving. Miriam kept filming. "What do you mean by people like him?" Grant noticed the lens. "Turn that off." "No." Owen Bell arrived from the concourse in a dark security jacket, radio hissing against his chest. Grant pointed toward Malcolm. Remove him from the premium area. Owen studied the passes and red banner. Is he threatening anyone? He is refusing direction. Malcolm stepped back. I'm standing where I was told. Owen looked at Leo. Was the pass valid? Yes. Celeste cut in. It became invalid after review. What review? For 2 seconds, no one answered. Behind the wall, a baggage cart struck metal with a hollow bang. Grant tapped the clock. We are done. Close the door. The agent inside the jet bridge reached for the handle. Malcolm smoothed the wrinkled corner of his pass. Give me the denial in writing. You'll receive an email. I want the reason you are using now. You are not entitled to dictate procedure. I'm asking you to document your decision. Grant leaned closer. Buy another ticket tomorrow. My daughter presents tonight. That is not the airline's responsibility. The door light changed from blue to amber. Malcolm's fingers closed around the silver gear in his pocket. He said nothing. Owen moved between him and the jet bridge. Sir, remain behind this line. Malcolm looked down. His shoes were already behind it. Miriam lowered her phone enough to capture the yellow stripe. Grant saw the frame. Final warning. To whom? She asked. The jet bridge door shut with a padded thud. A second later, the scanner light went dark. Leo stared at his screen. Someone just changed the record. Grant's face hardened. Who? Leo read the entry twice. Regional override, he said. Your credentials. The override timestamp read 11:27 p.m. Grant reached across the counter. Close that window. Leo moved the mouse away. The entry is logged. Then note it corrected an operational error. What error? The passenger no longer meets boarding conditions. Malcolm watched an amber beacon sweep across the wet pavement. Has my seat been reassigned? Celeste did not answer. The printer clicked. Leo read the screen. Seat 1A now belongs to Mr. Danner. The man in the cream sweater shifted his garment bag. I didn't ask you to remove him. You accepted the upgrade, Celeste said. I was told the seat opened. Miriam aimed her phone at him. Now you know how. Mr. Danner placed the new pass on the counter. Give it back. Grant pushed it toward him. Boarding is closing. I said no. Passengers behind the rope began to murmur. Someone whispered. His pass was green. No one stepped closer. Grant pointed at Owen. Clear the area. Owen stayed still. There is no safety issue. There is a refusal to comply. By whom? The jet bridge door opened. An agent called. We need the final count. Celeste grabbed the returned pass. One additional passenger. Not him, Mr. Danner said. She carried it to another man at the standby line. He accepted it without meeting Malcolm's eyes. The door closed. Malcolm's phone buzzed. Nia had sent a live stream link. They moved us up. Starting now. He tapped it. A school auditorium filled the screen. Nia stood beside a table, fixing the loose wheel on her robot. In the first row, Seat 7 remained empty. Dad? Her voice sounded thin through the speaker. She was testing the microphone, not calling him, but his shoulders shifted. Grant glanced at the screen. You can watch from here. Malcolm lowered the volume. That was not the promise. A boarding chime sounded. Beyond the glass, the aircraft began to move. Leo stared at Malcolm's profile. They added a behavior flag. Celeste returned. Standard notation. It says, aggressive passenger. Owen looked at Malcolm, who had not raised his voice. Who wrote that? I approved it, Grant said. Malcolm slipped the bent pass into his coat. Remove it. You can appeal within 30 days. My return flight is attached to that profile. Not anymore, Celeste said. Leo clicked through the record. Every segment is cancelled. The live stream crackled. Nia described the machine she and her mother had once designed on paper. Malcolm held the speaker closer. Can you restore the route? Not without regional authorization, Leo said. Grant adjusted his cuff. Then, this is finished. On screen, Nia looked toward seat A7. She stopped for half a second, then continued. Miriam lowered her phone. Call her. I've tried. Try again. Malcolm pressed the video icon. It rang once, twice, then failed. A terminal announcement swallowed the error tone. The aircraft's lights slid into the rain and vanished beyond the runway. Cold from the metal counter had numbed 2 of Malcolm's fingers, but he did not move. Noya raised the robot for the judges. The image froze with her face turned toward the empty chair. A message appeared beneath the frozen frame. I kept looking at the door. The frozen image remained on Malcolm's phone after the live stream resumed. I kept looking at the door. He read the message again, then sat on the metal bench opposite gate C19. The seat chilled through his trousers. Bags rattled over tile seams. Miriam sat 2 chairs away and placed a paper cup beside him. Tea, she said. Not coffee. Thank you. You should call her. She finished 3 minutes ago. Malcolm looked at the screen. Then she knows. That you missed it? That I chose work again. Miriam opened her mouth, then closed it. The cup trembled when an announcement boomed overhead. Ice from an earlier drink had melted beneath the bench, clear water creeping toward his shoe. His phone vibrated once. A voice message. 11 seconds. He pressed play. At first there was auditorium noise, then Nia's breath, close to the microphone. Dad, I kept thinking you'd walk in late. I left the seat empty anyway. I don't know why. The recording ended with a soft scrape, as if she had set the phone down before saying more. Malcolm did not replay it. Miriam stared at the floor. My son stopped inviting me to his concerts after the 4th one. Did he forgive you? He became polite. Malcolm turned the silver gear inside his pocket. Leo came from behind the counter, carrying a folded printout. Mr. Reed. Grant and Celeste had left, but Owen remained near the closed jet bridge. He watched Leo cross the waiting area. Leo lowered his voice. This is the audit snapshot from before the override. Malcolm accepted the paper. It shows your pass verified, then reassigned, then flagged afterward. Why give me this? Because the order is backwards. Owen moved closer. Keep your voice down. Leo swallowed. They'll say the system created the concern. It didn't. Malcolm folded the sheet. Do you still have the original file? Yes. Preserve it. Do not send it yet. You're not filing a complaint? I am deciding what kind. His phone lit again. Priya Shah. Where are you? She asked. At the gate. You sound different. I missed it. Priya was quiet for one breath. Nia? She left the chair empty. The ventilation fan clicked off. The concourse seemed to contract around that sentence. I can call her, Priya said. No. Malcolm, no one fixes this for me. Miriam looked away. Priya exhaled. Then listen. Grant's certificate cleared review. It says there are no unresolved complaints involving selective identity checks, manual seat removal, or unsupported behavior flags. Malcolm unfolded Leo's printout. When was it signed? 10:14. And the deadline? Midnight. How many minutes? 26. The silver gear pressed into his palm, but this time he opened his hand. Send the full certificate. Are you invoking the diligence clause? Not yet. What are you waiting for? Malcolm looked at Leo, then Miriam's phone, then Owen beside the sealed door. Proof that tonight was not an exception. A document appeared in his inbox. Beneath Grant Voss's digital signature, one line declared that every passenger complaint had been disclosed. Malcolm read it twice. Then he noticed the attachment count. 43 files had been removed before submission. 43? Priya said. Malcolm enlarged the attachment log. Each deleted file carried a complaint number, a date, and the same archive code. Can you recover the names? Not from this copy. Preserve the metadata. He looked at Leo. Did you know about archived complaints? We heard about them. We never saw the folders. Who controlled access? Regional management. Owen folded his arms. Grant. A floor polisher hummed down the concourse, pushing lemon cleaner through the cold air. Miriam stood. You need my recording? The original file, Malcolm said. No edits, no posts. You're not trying to hide this. I'm keeping them from calling it altered. Miriam unlocked her phone. Malcolm told Priya to open an evidence vault. You already decided, Priya said. I decided to preserve facts. At 11:35, Miriam uploaded the video while Leo copied the audit snapshot from his terminal. Celeste returned first. What are you doing? Closing my shift, Leo said. Then close it. She reached for the keyboard. Owen stepped between them. Don't touch the terminal. You work security, not internal affairs. I'm preserving a disputed record. Grant arrived behind her, phone at his ear. Who authorized that? No one, Owen said. That's why it matters. Grant ended the call. Mr. Reed, leave the gate. Malcolm rose and folded Naya's program into his coat. I'll move when you give me a written denial. You received an email. It says operational reasons. Your internal record says aggression. Which is true? Grant looked at Celeste. Both, she said. Then sign both. The printer clicked, but no paper emerged. Miriam raised her phone. I recorded everything. Grant's expression changed. You have no consent to distribute employee communications. I haven't distributed anything. Give me the device. Owen shook his head. You cannot demand that. Passengers who had remained nearby moved closer. Mr. Danner stood behind the yellow line, his garment bag at his feet. Grant glanced around. This is becoming a disturbance. No, Malcolm said. It is becoming documented. At 11:38, Priya's voice came through the speaker. The vault has both files. The audit log shows the behavior flag was added 4 minutes after the seat transfer. Leo shut his eyes. Grant heard her. Who is that? My counsel. Celeste's hand froze above the mouse. Priya continued. We recovered the deletion index. 43 complaints were removed from the disclosure package under Grant Voss's credentials. The gate seemed to lose its sound. Even the floor polisher stopped. Grant stepped toward Malcolm. You accessed confidential company material. No, your company sent it to mine. Grant's face went still. Mine? Celeste whispered. Malcolm looked at Leo. Send the original log now. Leo clicked upload. A blue bar crawled across the screen. Grant reached for the terminal, but Owen blocked him. Do not interfere. At 92%, the network icon flickered. Then the screen went black. Leo stared at it. Someone killed the gate connection. Malcolm checked his phone. The upload had not failed. It had paused at 99%. The upload bar stayed at 99% for 3 seconds. Then Leo's phone chimed. It went through, he said. The terminal died after the file reached the vault. Priya's voice came through Malcolm's speaker. I have the audit snapshot, the video, and the deletion index. No one alters that workstation. Owen lowered his radio. No one touches it. Grant pointed toward the concourse. This discussion is over. Not yet, Malcolm said. At 11:46, Priya opened an emergency review with Jonah Pierce and 2 outside auditors. Their faces filled Malcolm's phone while rain ticked against the windows. Jonah spoke first. "The certificate is false." Grant gave a short laugh. "You have no authority to decide that." Priya answered, "You signed that no unresolved complaints existed. We have 43 removed files, a current incident, and a behavior flag entered after the seat transfer. They were closed matters. Then why delete them before submission?" Grant looked at Celeste. She stared at the floor. An auditor asked, "Mr. Voss, did you personally certify the disclosure?" He said nothing. The clock changed to 11:49. Priya continued. Clause 12 allows immediate termination for material misrepresentation. We need instruction. Grant faced Malcolm. "Who are you?" Malcolm retrieved the torn barcode strip and placed it beside Leo's keyboard. Grant's phone vibrated. The screen showed Vivian Locke. He declined the call. It rang again. At 11:52, Jonah said, "Termination collapses the investment, licenses, and credit support together. Total exposure is $5.1 billion. Celeste gripped the counter. "5.1? Grant's face hardened. "This is intimidation." "No," Malcolm said. "It is due diligence. You arranged this." "I bought a ticket." The words landed more quietly than the rain. Vivian called a third time. Grant answered. Her voice carried from the speaker. "Why is Helix Harbor reviewing your certificate?" "A passenger dispute was mischaracterized." "Which passenger?" He looked at Malcolm. Priya sent a document to Malcolm's phone. Termination notice appeared above a blank signature line. "Time?" he asked. 11:57, Leo said. Grant crossed the yellow stripe. Owen stopped him with one open hand. "Malcolm," Priya said, "I need authorization." He saw Nia's frozen face beneath the document preview. "Execute it." At 11:58, the signature completed. Grant's tablet refreshed. His eyes moved from the notice to the name beneath it. Malcolm Reed, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, Helix Harbor Technologies. The color left his face. "Mr. Reed," he said. It was the first time he had used Malcolm's name. Celeste covered her mouth. Leo sat down. Miriam lowered her phone enough to see him. Grant tried again. "We can correct the seat record." Malcolm locked his screen. "Did Nia finish?" he asked Priya. A pause. "Yes. Her team won the engineering award." He closed his eyes for one breath. "And did she leave?" "Not yet. Her mentor says she's still in the auditorium." Behind Grant, departure screens flickered as a corporate alert reached the terminal. Malcolm picked up his carry-on. "Get me a quiet room," he said. "Not for an apology. For the evidence." Vivian Locke reached Gate C-19 at 12:14 a.m., buttoning a camel coat over her suit. "Mr. Reed." Malcolm stood beside the dark terminal while Owen guarded the keyboard. Rain hissed against the glass. "Please," Vivian said. "There is a private lounge upstairs." "No. We can speak without an audience." "The audience is part of the record." Behind the yellow line, Miriam held her phone at her chest. Mr. Danner remained by the window. Vivian faced Grant. "Did you verify his identity?" Grant's mouth opened. Leo answered first. "I did. Passport, payment, profile, and scan all matched. And the seat?" "Reassigned before any conflict existed." As Celeste pressed both palms to the counter, her ring clicked against the laminate. Vivian turned to Malcolm. "I am Vivian Locke, Chief Executive of Regent Vale Air. I confirm that you are the founder and Chief Executive of Helix Harbor Technologies." A murmur crossed the waiting area. One passenger lowered his phone. Grant stepped forward. "Vivian, this can be contained." Malcolm set the bent boarding pass beneath the desk lamp. The printed one A showed through Celeste's thumb smudge. "Contained from whom?" "We can restore your profile, arrange a charter, and issue lifetime travel privileges." "My daughter's presentation ended 5 hours ago." Vivian's shoulders dropped. "Then let us make restitution privately. Restore every cancelled segment. Preserve this terminal. Freeze the gate logs, security audio, and staffing records." Grant shook his head. "That is unnecessary." Owen replied, "It is already underway." Vivian studied him. "Who authorized you?" "No one. That is why I documented it." Under the lamp, the torn barcode strip curled beside Malcolm's pass. Priya appeared by video. "We need separate statements before anyone coordinates accounts." Vivian nodded. "Agreed." Grant reached for his phone. "Put it down," Malcolm said. Grant froze. "You wanted my conduct documented," Malcolm continued. "Now yours will be too." They moved into a glass conference room overlooking the gate, but Malcolm left the blinds open. He placed the 1A pass in the center of the table. Miriam spoke first. The scanner turned green. Then the manager covered the seat number with her thumb. Leo added, "The behavior flag came after the reassignment." Owen said, "There was no threat, raised voice, or refusal to follow a safety instruction." Mr. Danner looked at Malcolm. "I accepted the upgrade because I believed the seat was vacant. When I learned why, I returned it." Celeste's chair creaked. Vivian asked, "Why did you continue after the documents matched?" Celeste stared at the pass. "Because I thought no one would question me if I sounded certain." No one moved. Grant said, "She was under pressure to close boarding." Celeste looked at him. "You told me to make it stick." Leo's head snapped up. "That phrase is in the supervisor call log." Priya leaned toward her camera. "Preserve that audio." Vivian removed her executive badge and laid it beside the pass. "There will be no confidential settlement tonight," she said. Malcolm looked through the glass at the abandoned counter. "Good," he replied, "because 43 other passengers may have been denied the same room." At 8:20 the next morning, Helena Cross opened the first archive box. She was 61, an ethics examiner with silver hair at her jaw and a habit of removing her glasses before hard questions. 43 colored tabs rose from the folder, forcing the cover upward. "This will not close," she said. No one answered. The room smelled of burnt coffee, damp coats, and hot paper. Malcolm sat opposite Celeste and Leo, his overcoat folded beside him. Grant's chair remained empty. Helena tapped the first tab. Complaint 12. Passenger removed from a premium seat after a valid scan. 19. Additional identity check after payment cleared. 27. Behavior flag entered after the passenger requested a supervisor. Leo worried the edge of his badge. "Were these isolated?" Helena asked. "No." Vivian turned. "How long did you know?" "I knew something was wrong. I didn't know how many." "You had system access." "Not to the archive. Only regional managers did." Helena slid over a printed log. "But you saw these manual codes." Leo swallowed. "Yes." "Why stay silent?" The ventilation clicked on, lifting one corner of Malcolm's bent pass. "People who challenged Grant lost shifts," Leo said. "Then hours. Then they disappeared from the schedule." Celeste looked at him. "You never told me. You told us to stop asking." Her ring struck the table once. Helena opened another folder. "Miss Ward, your name appears in 9 incidents. I followed procedure." "Which procedure?" "The discretionary review process. Show me where clothing or luggage permits a second identity check." Celeste reached for the policy binder, then stopped. Beyond the glass wall, cleaning carts squeaked across the empty gate. "There isn't one," she said. Vivian's voice dropped. "Then why, Malcolm?" Celeste looked at him for the first time since dawn. His hoodie was creased from the bench. A red line crossed his palm where the silver gear had pressed. "I thought he was someone no one would believe." The words remained between them. Malcolm did not move. "He was alone," Celeste continued. "No assistant, no expensive bag." He kept asking exact questions, and I thought— She rubbed the thumb that had covered 1A. "I thought sounding certain would be enough." "For whom?" Helena asked. "For everyone watching." Near the wall, Miriam lowered her eyes. Helena faced Vivian. "This was not one bad judgment. Your system rewarded speed, protected managers, and buried evidence." Vivian stared at the tabs. "How many people were compensated?" 3 received vouchers, Helena said. "None received the real reason." Leo unclipped his badge and placed it beside the folder. "I saved screenshots before last night." Helena leaned forward. "How many?" 7. "Where?" "A private drive." Celeste whispered. "Why didn't you send them?" Leo looked at Malcolm. "I was waiting for someone they couldn't ignore." Malcolm finally spoke. "That is how systems survive." Leo lowered his head. "Not because no one sees," Malcolm said, "because everyone waits for the perfect witness." Helena closed the folder as far as the 43 tabs allowed. "Then we stop waiting." She turned Leo's laptop toward him and asked him to open the drive. Leo opened the private drive at 8:37 a.m. 7 folders appeared, each labeled with a date. Helena Cross lowered her glasses. "Open the oldest." The screen showed a green scan, a manual seat change, and a behavior flag entered 6 minutes later. The same sequence appeared in every folder. Leo opened a call log. He approved all 7. A recording icon blinked beside one entry. Helena pressed play. Grant's voice came through the speaker. "Don't argue the details. Make it stick and close the gate." The radiator knocked twice. Cold morning light turned the table gray. Helena stopped the audio. "That phrase appears in last night's record." "It was his instruction whenever anyone questioned an override," Leo said. Vivian took out her phone. "Suspend his access." "Disabled at 12:06, Owen said from the doorway. "Then revoke the badge." Owen placed a white envelope on the table. Grant's access card lay inside. A second envelope held Celeste's badge. She stared at it. "Am I fired?" "Pending review. You are removed from passenger-facing work," Vivian said. "No witness contact. No system access." Celeste tried to lift the envelope, but her fingers would not close. She pushed it away. Helena turned to Owen. "You intervened after the door closed." "Yes?" "Why not earlier?" "I waited for a safety violation before contradicting an executive." "There wasn't one." "I know." Vivian slid him a notice. "Formal reprimand. Mandatory review." At 9:12, Grant entered with company counsel, rain darkening his coat. "This proceeding is unauthorized." Helena pointed to the empty chair. "Sit." He remained standing. "Those files were archived because they were resolved." "By whom?" "Regional operations." "You," Helena said. Grant looked at Malcolm. "This company is at risk because one passenger refused a delay." "No. It is at risk because you signed a false statement." "We can restore the transaction." "There is no transaction." $5.1 billion should not disappear over a seat. Malcolm unfolded the program. Rain had blurred the blue circle around A7. It did not disappear over a seat. Grant's voice rose. "Then what do you want?" Helena opened the binder with 43 colored tabs. "The names," Malcolm said. Every passenger, every witness, every employee punished for reporting this. Notify them before the market. Vivian nodded. We can create a compensation fund. Not vouchers. Agreed. Grant laughed once. Public apologies will not protect jobs. Malcolm looked at Leo, Celeste, and the envelopes. Protecting jobs by hiding harm is how you arrived here. At 10:03, the board terminated Grant for falsifying the certificate, suppressing complaints, and interfering with records. Celeste's hearing was set for the following week. Owen's reprimand remained. Vivian asked Malcolm to reconsider the original agreement. He placed the bent one, A pass, on top of it. Not to save your share price. What would make you return? Proof that the next passenger will not need to be a billionaire to be believed. Helena closed the binder around the tabs. The cover still would not meet. Then, she said, we write the conditions first. Helena turned a blank legal pad toward Malcolm. Start with the passenger. At 10:18 a.m., Malcolm, Vivian, Helena, Priya, Leo, and Naya remained. Nia joined by video from the auditorium, competition badge still pinned. Vivian uncapped a pen. Independent Review Board. Independent means the airline cannot appoint a majority, Malcolm said. Helena wrote it down. Preserve every manual seat change, Priya added. No deletion or regional override without a second signature. Leo leaned forward. Employees need a reporting channel outside their chain of command. Anonymous? Vivian asked. Protected. Anonymous means nothing if schedules can still be cut. Nia looked at the bent one A pass beside Malcolm's hand. What about the software? The system that decides who gets flagged, Nia said. It doesn't decide, Vivian replied. Then show the rules. No one answered. Open the model, Malcolm said. Test it for patterns in identity checks, seat removals, upgrades, and behavior flags. Publish the results quarterly. That could expose proprietary systems, Vivian said. So did 43 hidden complaints. By noon, 3 pages listed written reasons for denied boarding, notice of every behavior flag, preservation of scanner status, outside review within 14 days, cash compensation instead of travel credit, public reporting by station and manager. Vivian read the pages twice. This is not a partnership agreement. It is an operating constitution. It is the price of being trusted with people, Malcolm replied. Priya cleared her throat. The original $5.1 billion remains terminated. We discuss a smaller staged contract only after the first audit. How small? Small enough that failure hurts you more than us. Nia moved closer to her camera. Add one thing. Everyone waited. When a passenger asks why, staff cannot treat the question itself as misconduct. Leo looked down at his badgeless jacket. Helena wrote the sentence slowly. At 1:06 p.m., Vivian signed the framework. Malcolm did not. When will you sign? After the board is seated, the archive is released, and every affected passenger is contacted. You do not trust us. Not yet. 3 weeks later, the first report listed 43 cases, 7 retaliation claims, and 9 unsupported behavior flags. Regent Vale funded an independent passenger council chaired by Helena. Leo accepted a protected compliance role. Owen began retraining security teams on the difference between inconvenience and danger. Celeste attended the first session from the back row. Helena asked why certainty had replaced evidence. I thought certainty sounded like authority, Celeste said. Authority without evidence is only volume. The airline offered Malcolm a ceremonial first flight under the new system. He declined. Instead, he sat with Naya at their kitchen table while she reviewed the algorithm audit. The room smelled of toast and printer ink. Rain tapped the window. The silver gear lay between the pages. Nia circled one line in red. "This threshold still punishes people who ask too many questions." Malcolm read it. "Then we send it back." Beside the unsigned contract, the bent boarding pass remained under the silver gear. 3 months later, Malcolm arrived at the Riverpoint Auditorium before the doors opened. The custodian was still testing the aisle lights. Nia's name waited on the program beneath Final Systems Demonstration, and seat A7 stood empty in the front row. "You're early," Alana Hart said from the stage. "I know." Malcolm placed his worn leather carry-on beneath the chair, removed his overcoat, and sat. The silver gear rested in his palm. Its edges no longer hurt. At 6:42 p.m., Nia entered, carrying the rebuilt rover. She stopped when she saw him. "You found the seat." "I checked twice." She set the machine on stage, then came down. For a moment, she stood beside him instead of hugging him. "I still have the recording," she said. "So do I." They watched it together in an empty classroom after the presentation. The image shook whenever the student filming changed hands. On screen, Nia looked toward the auditorium door before every major sentence. Malcolm did not explain the airport or the people who had failed him. He watched the empty chair remain empty. When the video ended, Nia closed the laptop. "You can't buy that night back." "No." "Good. Then sit in the next chair." He placed the silver gear between them. "I can do that." The following Monday, Regent Vale released its first independent passenger report. 43 archived complaints became 43 reopened cases. 31 passengers accepted direct compensation. 9 requested formal hearings. 3 asked only for corrected records. Every manual seat reassignment now required a written reason, a second employee's approval, and an automatic notice to the passenger. Grant Voss remained dismissed. The company referred his false certification to outside regulators, and his name disappeared from the executive directory without ceremony. Celeste Ward was reassigned to a non-customer role while undergoing supervised retraining. At her first session, she read aloud why she had chosen Malcolm. She thought no one would believe him. No one softened the sentence. Owen Bell kept his reprimand and began leading security workshops on the difference between inconvenience and danger. Leo Park joined the Protected Compliance Office. On his first day, he placed a printout of the green scan above his desk. Miriam Sloan mailed Nia a photograph from Gate C19. Malcolm stood behind the yellow line while dozens watched. On the back she wrote, "I raised my phone before I raised my voice. I'm trying to change that order." Helena's Oversight Council rejected Regent Vale's first algorithm audit. Nia had found that passengers who asked repeated questions were still more likely to receive behavior flags. The system was rewritten, publicly tested, and reviewed again before Helix Harbor signed a limited 12-month partnership worth a fraction of the original deal. Vivian Locke asked whether the reduced agreement felt like victory. "It feels measurable," Malcolm said. That evening, Nia's rover completed its course without losing a wheel. Applause rolled through the auditorium, uneven. Malcolm stayed seated until she looked directly at him. Then he stood. Afterward, they walked out beneath spring rain. Malcolm carried the robot. Nia carried his leather bag. At the curb, she tucked the silver gear into its front pocket. "For next time," she said. The empty chair was no longer waiting. Have you ever watched someone be dismissed, misjudged, or denied fair treatment while everyone else stayed silent? Share what happened in the comments, including the moment when someone finally chose to speak up, or when no one did. Send this story to a person who believes dignity should never depend on clothing, wealth, job title, or the name printed on a boarding pass. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, hidden truth, and the difficult changes that begin when ordinary witnesses preserve the evidence. And when you see someone standing alone behind a line they were never supposed to cross, remember Miriam's words: raise your voice before you raise your phone.